Well, welcome to session 5 for this video facilitator guide. As we get into session 5, session 5 and 6 are some of the real crucial ones in the curriculum, and they're very difficult. As you'll see, the threaded value that's displayed at the top of session 5 is confessional conversations. It's a big piece of how we do threaded work, encouraging people to be confessional and how they think and how they feel, confessing maybe past wrongs in the discussion of racism, which can be a very tough thing. But hopefully, by the time your group gets here, there will have been levels of vulnerability that would have been created and been modeled, and that they feel safe enough to do that. So just be on the lookout for that. This is it will be it could potentially be a very difficult one. So as you prepare, make sure you go through and start to look for ways. You know your group, right? So look for ways in which some of the questions may trigger someone in your group, and be prepared for that to go forward. And if you need help knowing how to prepare for that, man, just again, make sure you utilize our facilitator coaches. You may want to, in these sessions too, you want to allow a subtle challenge to come from within the group. Sometimes the challenge doesn't always have to come from you. In fact, many times it doesn't. It should come from the group to each other, and you just mediate and facilitate that. But you want to allow those subtle challenges of where things need to be broken down, some maybe entrenched levels of ethnocentrism or some sort of narrative, as we talked about before. We want to start to challenge some of those things, but not in such a way that it's for anybody's, to satisfy anybody's personal agenda, but for the growth of the individual and for the growth of the group. We want the group to be a place that's really inviting, a judge-free zone, but we also want to be a place where we can grow and we can be honest in this. And so we may need to challenge some folks in our group that way. As you go through this, one of remember, you've got these skills building, and again, always be looking back and checking in on your group rules to make sure you establish those every time, because the minute you don't establish them, the minute you'll need them. So make sure you establish that. And then as I look through this curriculum again, I think about the experience. This is one of those experiences that can be done as a group. You are, as a group, can go to a local ministry, maybe in an area that has been created in such a way that this group is isolated from the rest of maybe the city because of some historical and systematic racism in our country. If your group goes and serves in that area, I think it'll open up some opportunity for some great discussion, and everybody grows closer together when they work and serve together. So just something to think about as a facilitator and as you lead. Also, as we mentioned a couple of sessions ago, you should know at this point, or at least have some idea of some people who would be good facilitators. It might even be good for this particular one, or actually for the ones coming up, the sessions coming up, to start to think who in your group could facilitate with you, and even your co-facilitator, who you can train and who you can walk with as they try out asking the questions and facilitating. Maybe someone you can meet up with before they go into the session, and you can start to get them prepared. But they get to maybe lead with you right now so that they can get a taste of that. And then as we get further down the sessions, we can give them a session to do on their own so that we can continue to move this movement outside of just this facilitator, or excuse me, this small group, and we can create more small groups that can produce more ambassadors for reconciliation in our community. So I'm trusting in you, facilitators, to do the work and help us find those facilitators, and I know you will. Thank you so much for what you're doing, and we'll see you in the next session.